So, Chapter 5 of Bendy and the Ink Machine is out, and I'm not gonna play it. If any of you have seen my videos on it, you know how much I hated Chapter 3, and honestly Chapter 2 as well. They were just so fucking awful. Like, almost unplayable. They were genuinely garbage, and some of the worst games I've ever played.
Honestly, I was not going to go back to this game, Bendy and the Ink Machine, because Chapter 3, it was fucking awful.
That was 2 and 3, and then with Chapter 4, I only played it because so many people came to the channel from Chapter 2 and 3. They were some of my most recommended videos, so I was like, I have to come back and, like, let people know what's going on. So that was what the plan was for Chapter 4. But then Chapter 4, they did a lot better. They put in minigames, and they fixed up a lot of the issues. So that made me kind of open-minded for Chapter 5. I wasn't excited for it, and I didn't keep an eye out for it. But I was open-minded about it, and I was willing to give it a shot. So I fired up the game, and that's why I'm on the loading screen here. You know, my save file was totally gone. I have 2 saves right here. I'll explain where those are from in a sec. But my save file was totally gone, so I was like, it's whatever. Maybe it just deleted the progress. That's fine. I know they had changed a lot of the individual chapters, so I get it. So I went to select chapter. Chapter 1's unlocked. Oh. They're all locked. All of the game is locked, and there's no way to fix it. I looked it up on YouTube, and someone had put out a thing that people could use to... it's like they put out their copy of the saved game that people could just plug in to the saved game file and instantly get to the chapter. And that's what these 2 are. But they're not compatible with Chapter Select, so this is still locked, and I'm not replaying Chapter 3 again. That one was... Nothing is worth playing through Chapter 3 again. So, a couple days ago, I guess it was about 2 days ago now, I emailed them. If this video goes up, it would have been 2 days before this video went up. I emailed them, and I asked, like, what's the deal? Is there any way to just go into the game files and instantly unlock it? And they just didn't respond. And that was a little bit confusing, so I looked through the discussion, and it seems like this has been a problem for months. Since Chapter 4, they changed it so you couldn't chapter select if you hadn't played the game before. I didn't know they had done that, but apparently that's something that they did. And they haven't helped anyone who's had this issue, and apparently it's like the main issue people have been having with this game. Or it's one of them, that and the game just not saving at all, and they've done nothing to fix that. And they haven't released any information about it. They haven't tried to fix it. So then I looked, like, is Chapter 5 worth playing at all? And from what I can gather, it's not. Most people who've played it, and I tried to skim, like, just the parts that are spoiler-free, because I didn't want to spoil the game for myself. But apparently Chapter 5 has been, like, it's been a colossal disappointment. It's been a massive clusterfuck, and from what I can gather, I can't find anyone who went out of their way to say it was great or enjoyed it. On top of that, they changed the way you purchase the game, so if you have Chapter 4 or more, you get the full game. But if you have Chapter 3 or less, you have to buy the whole game again, and it's $20. And this whole game, it's worth $15, $10 if they were nice, but they're not. So I'd say $15 if they want to be assholes, but they made it $20, which is absurd. What I think happened is I think that maybe they kind of overextended themselves, and now they can't afford. Maybe they pulled a Telltale, and they tried to do something too big, and they can't afford to keep doing what they're doing. And maybe they just ran out of money. That's my guess for it. So I'm not planning on playing Chapter 5. It's not worth it to play through the whole game again, especially not if I have to play through Chapter 3 again. That chapter was so fucked. It was just the worst. So if they do finally get back to me and give me, like, a way explicitly to just jump to Chapter 5, then I'll come back to Bendy and the Ink Machine, and I'll finish it off. Otherwise, this game is just not worth it. Chapter 1 was pretty good, and it's what raised up most of the hype, and they've pretty much just been banking off of the hype for Chapter 1 for the rest of the entire game. Like, Chapter 1 was great because they didn't have any funding, so they had to work around their constraints and make something that worked, and it turned out to be not bad, and set up a lot of intrigue, a little freebie. Chapter 2 was their first time actually going into it, and it was not good. And then Chapter 3 just failed in every way imaginable. I think with Chapter 4, they were, like, realizing some of the issues, so they started making the game better again, and that kind of reignited the hype for it, like Chapter 1 did. And then Chapter 5, from what I've read, is just a massive fucking flop. It's just awful. Yeah, that pretty much covers it. I just wanted to make a video explaining that, because a lot of my earlier views were from Bendy and the Ink Machine, even though now, it's like, it's one of the worst series on the channel, with the playthrough on Chapter 2 and 3 being nearly unwatchable, just because I was trying so hard to force myself to, like, act like it was good, because I was scared that the fandom would rip me apart if I didn't. Now I'm not like that, I've kind of grown up a bit, I guess, and I explained that in my Chapter 4 playthrough, why the footage is so bad. Like, I was trying so hard to pretend to like it, and you can't really mask that with editing. Alright, that pretty much covers it. That's everything I wanted to say. If they get back to me, I might play it again. Otherwise, I definitely won't. And also, I'm just really disappointed that they would do that with the pricing of the game, where people who only have up to Chapter 3 have to buy it, because a lot of people who played through Chapter 3 stopped playing the game, because Chapter 3 was awful. And you can't treat people who've paid for your stuff like that. That's just wrong. You know? If you're asking for money for something, it should be something that you gave your all to make. And if they've paid for most of it, they shouldn't have to buy the whole game again. I mean, that's just wrong. I'm gonna upload this tomorrow along with Soma, which is an actually amazing game made by people who love making games, and it's a series I'm really proud of, so check that out if you're from the Bending of the Ink Machine crowd. It's a series that's actually good. That's everything. Thanks everybody once again. I'm sorry to disappoint you by not going through Chapter 5, but I can't put myself through Chapter 3 again. It's 2 hours long, and it's honestly the worst thing I've ever played in my life. That's everything I had to say. Go check out Soma. It's actually good. And, yeah. Good night.